Keir Starmer, for some reason, has decided he wants to be a bit Churchillian. He's going off to France for the first time for any British Prime Minister since Churchill to go and sort of commemorate Armistice Day in France. What's he up to?
Well, I think, if I'm being fair, I think it's important that we stand with our allies from across the world, not just the United States, which we often talk about, but France as well. And it's perfectly reasonable for him to go off to mark this Armistice Day in France, as you say, the first since Winston Churchill. We just hope that he backs our military when he gets back home with more defence spending and the commitments he made before the election.
But I mean, it's the first time a Prime Minister has done this in over 60 years. Why is it suddenly so important for him to do it?
You'll have to ask him, Mike. I don't know. I mean, I think it's important that, as I say, we stand with our allies, important that we have a good relationship with France and that we mark Armistice Day.
Yeah, but we've got all those things, Gareth, but no Prime Minister before, since Winston Churchill, has thought it necessary to go there. I just wonder why he suddenly thinks it's a good idea, that's all.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd have to ask him, Mike, I'm afraid.
You know, John Major didn't think it was necessary. You know, should we go back through the list? John Major, Margaret Thatcher, you know, Harold Wilson, Jim Callaghan, Edward Heath, Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, you know, Boris Johnson. You know, nobody thought they needed to do it. I just find it a bit odd, really.
Well, we know Keir Starmer's very close to Europe and he wants us to get closer, and so maybe that's one reason. But I think it is important that we mark Armistice Day wherever the Prime Minister is located physically today. It is important that we all mark 11 a.m. With great respect.
I agree.
And,
what do you make of the fact that young people apparently are wearing the poppy less because they think that it somehow signifies something they don't like or recognise? They say in an article in the Telegraph this weekend that they associate it with Brexit, they associate it with right-wing politics, they associate it with racism, the same way they associate the St George's flag with that. Isn't that an appalling failure of our education system?
I think it is vital that every November, we reflect on why it is so many of us wear a poppy with pride. It's important that we pass down to future generations the memories of those that went before us and the respect for those who gave their lives for our safety today.
Yes, but my question, Gareth, is why are young people eschewing the wearing of the poppy? And if they are, which it seems they are, it's a failure of our political and educational system, isn't it? Are we getting something wrong?
I think that, Mike, to be fair, I think there's too much emphasis placed on who wears a poppy and who doesn't wear a poppy. I wear a poppy to remember and to respect those who have fallen and given the ultimate sacrifice. But others mark it in other ways. And I think I'm not going to jump to conclusions as to why certain younger people may not be wearing a poppy, but I would hope that whoever they are, whether they wear a poppy or not, they mark today with respect, with reflection, and that we continue
so you're kind of contributing. Well, you're kind of contributing to why they don't wear a poppy, because you say it doesn't really matter. They don't have to wear one, or they shouldn't. So the reason why
to be fair, I didn't say it doesn't matter.
Well, you just said you don't mind if people don't wear one. So clearly, you're not telling young people listening now that they should wear one.
All I'm saying is you don't have to wear a poppy to respect our military, and you don't have to wear a poppy to be grateful to those who served.
So you're saying it's not important to wear a poppy then?
I personally wear a poppy every day. I personally wear a poppy every single day. I know others wear medals from previous conflicts that they've been engaged in other ways. But
I'm sorry,
I would
Gareth.
hope that the young generation...
I'm sorry to be a curmudgeon on this. I'm asking you, why do you think our young people associate wearing a poppy with the wrong kind of politics? That's what they're saying. That's the piece of the Telegraph. They're quoting young people who are saying they don't wear it because they associate it, like they associate the St George's flag, with racism, with a kind of a shameful history, and with a sort of disdain, and they don't want to wear it because they associate it. So something's gone wrong, is what I'm saying. It seems to me, in our education.
Yes. Yeah, that is completely wrong. If they're associating the poppy with those things that you say, that is completely wrong. I was making a different point, which is you don't have to wear a poppy to respect our military and to remember those who've fallen. But if if certain people believe that the poppy represents something that it doesn't, racism, whatever you're saying, that is completely wrong, and clearly we need to work to fix that, because that is not right.
So do we not then need to fix it in our schools, was my original question. We've come a long way round to get there. My point is that surely we need to educate children better so that they don't feel that way.
I think we've ended in a good place, Mike. I think we agree that we absolutely need to educate our children on our history and the respect. We pay the respect to those who have fallen in our schools and everywhere. Also, parents have a role to play, of course, but it is right. And days like today and yesterday with the cenotaph, it's that is helpful to educate the next generation.
Sure. Let's talk about this dreadful Labour government of ours. Big businesses now being hit by the national insurance hike. Pubs and restaurants been told to basically suck it up. Darren Jones, who's increasingly becoming my bogeyman, not least because he admitted on national television yesterday that he might be a vegan, he's saying you just suck it up, just pay the money and just be thankful that you've still got a business. It's a hell of a way to run the country, isn't it?
Well, it's disrespectful to business owners and businesses who employ our people and pay taxes, more taxes than they frankly should. But it's also a fundamental misunderstanding as to how the market works. These businesses will be passing on the tax rises to consumers through higher prices. They'll be making difficult decisions when it comes to hiring new people, and it'll be difficult for them to give pay rises. And so ultimately what this comes down to is this national insurance rise, which is a break of their manifesto commitment, is going to hurt those workers in our country who are the lowest paid and put a stall on our economy, which is what Labour always do. Labour always leave office with higher unemployment than they inherited, and this is how this happens.
Right.
It is absolutely outrageous. It's vital that we hold them to account.
I mean, Kate Nichols, who we know here, we get her on quite a lot, Chief Executive of UKHospitality, has written a letter to the government and to Rachel Reeves specifically to say that the national insurance thresholds are now actually unsustainable for their businesses. They're regressive and they will absolutely put many, many companies out of work.
Well, Kate Nichols is a great champion for UKHospitality. I dealt with her quite extensively when I was in government. It is not just the national insurance increase that's going to hurt our pubs and our retail businesses. What is not getting as much coverage is the fact that they've downgraded the retail, hospitality and leisure relief on business rates that we introduced. We introduced a 75% relief for our high streets and our pubs. Labour have cut that down to 40%. So it's not just the national insurance increase, it's the cut in relief for retail and hospitality businesses, and they're increasing the national living wage, which businesses, retail hospitality businesses, are going to be hit with as well. So it's a triple whammy for these businesses. Just at a time when they've come out of a pandemic and the war in Ukraine. It is going to really, really damage our retail and hospitality leisure sector.
Yes, and of course that's not the only place where the people are unhappy about the budget. Farmers are going to be demonstrating next weekend. Jeremy Clarkson is going to be joining them. Do you support the farmers' protest?
100%, and Kemi Badenoch has been clear that we would reverse the family farm tax that Labour are imposing. Again, this is a pattern from this Labour government. They said one thing in opposition. Keir Starmer explicitly said he would not alter the agricultural property relief, and as soon as he gets into office, he's reduced it and put an inheritance tax on farmland. This is going to have a massive impact on family farms in my constituency and throughout the country at a time when we need to be focused on food security. It's absolutely outrageous, and it's quite right that farmers want to come down here to Westminster to make their voices heard, and I'll be meeting several farmers myself from my constituency, and I would encourage all MPs to engage with farmers, particularly if they're Labour MPs, to understand the damage that this will do to our farmers.
And let me just play you this. We've been struggling with our immigration policy for a long time, not least during your time in government. The Labour Party still seem to be struggling with it as well. But have a look at this from Donald Trump.
elite squads of ICE, Border Patrol, and federal law enforcement officers to hunt down, arrest, and deport every last illegal alien gang member until there is not a single one left in this country. And if they come back into our country, they will be told it is an automatic 10-year sentence in jail with no possibility of parole.
So, I mean, Donald Trump, within about, what, 3 days of becoming president, seems to have a pretty good idea of how to stop the mass illegal immigration problem. Should have been quite simple for you guys to do the same, shouldn't it?
Well, I think what was clear from the election of Donald Trump is that immigration, illegal immigration, the unfairness of it matters to people, and they vote accordingly. In this country, we have a Labour government who've come in, they've removed the Rwanda deterrent and have no plan whatsoever to tackle illegal immigration, and the boats still keep coming. October was the worst month for crossings in 2 years. There's been 17,000 people enter our country illegally since Labour took office. They have absolutely no plan to tackle this, and we are urgently urging the government to set out what they are going to do. You can't just scrap the previous government's deterrent, the plan for third country processing, and hope that it's all going to be okay. We heard recently that Labour are now going to be opening more hotels again to illegal migrants in our communities. It's just not good enough, and we need to hold them to account.
Gareth Davies MP, thank you very much indeed. Shadow Financial Secretary reporting in to us there from College Green.